Hey guys, welcome to another episode. Today we're going to be talking about the appliances in my van and how much energy they all use and also how we use them. So just starting off, I've got a juicer here and I love this. This is my baby. It's made by Kuvings. It's a cold pressed, slow centrifugal auger juicer. So most days we make a juice and that is a 240 watt juicer. Next we've got a NutriBullet, which is the small version. It's less commonly used, but I've been getting back into making smoothies, so I'm loving this as well. These two go really well together. And this is a 600 watt motor. Next we've got the toaster, which is 850 watts. And the pressed sandwich toaster, which is I believe 800 watts, I think. So they're the four appliances that we have in the van, we use on a regular basis. And I guess you could count the fridge, which might be counted as an appliance, and that runs off 12 volt. These all run off 240 volt. This fridge runs off 12 volt and I believe it pulls 3.75 amps, I think. Yeah, I just checked it, it's 3.75 amps. So what I'm gonna do today is use all these appliances. I'm gonna make a juice, a smoothie, and toast and everything else. And I'm gonna run over while I'm using and show you the ePro smart meter, which shows you a live view of how much electricity and how many amp hours and amps it's using. I'm gonna show you that so that you get a good idea about 240 volt appliances running through an inverter, because there's a difference between the amount of current that is pulled on the DC side of the inverter to the AC side. So I want to explain a bit more in depth about that. But right now, I'm going to jump into making a juice. So I'm going to put these away. These generally live up here. It's a good little cupboard. Save some space. So firstly, I've got to chop up. Get my chopping board out. So today we're making an okra juice, which is orange, carrot and apple. So this is probably one of our favorites. We make all the time. And yeah, we just love it. We could have this nearly every single morning, I reckon. So with our juicer, you do have to do a little bit of prepping. I generally don't peel the carrots. I generally just chop the ends off and put it in, but there was a little bit of yucky stuff on it, so I thought I'd peel it off. But yeah, in the manual they recommend that if you're doing oranges and things with like harder skins, to just cut them off, because it's better for the juicer apparently, makes it last longer. And the juicer that I got, as I said, is a Kuvings slow cold press juicer, and it's the professional version. So yeah, it juices really well. We love using it, and it really doesn't use that much electricity, surprisingly. So that's pretty much the prep done. So I've finished prepping. It doesn't take very long at all, and I normally leave the inverter off because it has a small standby current. So only when I'm using 240 volt appliances, I will flick the inverter on, and I'll show you how I do that. So we're going to go to the back of the van, and in the little cupboard here, click that button, and yeah, it's ready to go. And just quickly, this is a monitor that monitors everything to do with the battery. So you can see voltage, current, wattage, what's getting taken in or out. If it's got a minus on it, it means things are being used. And if there's no minus, it's being put back into the battery by the solar. But I've got the solar at the moment flicked off to get a more accurate reading. And this one up here is basically just telling us about the inverter. So it's telling you all about the AC and what's happening there in terms of like voltage, current and all that. All right, so we're all set up. and the juice is going to go in here, the pulp's going to go in here. So I'll switch it on, and firstly we will see that on the, you probably can't see that, but on the output, on the AC side, it's about half an amp, 0.5 of an amp. And on the DC side, it says 10 amps that it's pulling. But we do have lights on in here, which pull about 2 amps. So the machine, the juice is using roughly 8 amps. So let's get this show on the road. Put her in. I love this juice. Can you see that in there? It's just chewing it all up. So what's good about a cold press juicer is it's actually supposed to yield more. If you touch this pulp, it's quite dry because it's really extracting all the juice, all the liquid from the fruit and vegetables and getting it into here. You know, you're getting not 100%, but a very high efficiency of the juice. So in the long run, I guess you buy a more expensive juicer, but you have to buy less fruit and vegetables to make the same amount of juice. So this is just for me, obviously, but if it's Laurie and I, we normally make double this size. And you want to finish on something hard, the hardest thing out of here, to really push everything through. And that's how simple it is. So I'll just let that run a little bit to get all the juice out, and once it's pretty much there, you can just close that cap off, which seals it, and then you can just turn it off. All right. Whoops, I've actually forgotten to put a carrot in. Whoops. Tuck that last little bit in. Yes, I could just juice every single day. I love it. We give it a bit of a mix. Sometimes I've actually put beetroot in this, which makes it even sweeter. So, there's a freshly squeezed juice. We try to do that nearly every single day. This is a new, I guess, addition to the van. I only bought it maybe a month and a bit, 2 months. So yeah, ever since then I've been using it nearly every single day. Oh, that's so sweet. So good. So the cleanup process of this is not the easiest when you don't have an unlimited supply of water, because we're always trying to conserve water. So, you know, like all the little fibers and stuff, you got to take it out. It's pretty easy to clean actually, but like in a van, you just got to run the water on really slow and get it all. It takes about 5 minutes if you're pretty efficient at cleaning this thing. So yeah, it's probably the hardest thing to clean in the van, but not to make it like you don't want to do it. So still juice every day, it's worth it. So I'm gonna finish the rest of this juice, let it sit in my tummy for 20 minutes or so. Then I'm gonna make a smoothie for the demonstration. So we'll jump to the time lapse of me cleaning this up, and then we'll do the smoothie. Alright, cool. So we've finished making the juice. That was delicious. The juicer lives in this cabinet down here, along with all its other parts that are drying right now. So next I'm going to get out the NutriBullet. And as I said, this is the small version, 600 watt. So basically what I'm going to do, a real simple one, it's going to be 2 bananas, and I didn't freeze them. I actually kind of like them not frozen, eh? 2 dates. I'm not going to put any berries in, and a bit of soy milk. I probably normally do soy or almond milk, sometimes just water, to be honest, but I want to make it a bit thicker today, so I'm just breaking these up. This is way more easy to do, make a smoothie compared to a juice, but they both have their individual benefits. They got pros and cons, but yeah, definitely making a smoothie is much easier. And the NutriBullet is nothing to clean. It takes like 10 seconds. That's why we love it. Pit that date. These are fresh medjool dates. 2 of these. And then on the NutriBullet, it's got like a little fill line. And I'll just fill that up till the max line. If you're familiar with a NutriBullet, you would know what I'm talking about. Just this little line here. You can't go higher than that. Oops, I just did. Screw the lid on. Alrighty, so this is 600 watts. This should be pulling a lot more current than the juicer. So I'm going to turn it on and we're going to go look at the little electricity meter. Alright, so on the AC side, we're pulling 2.4 amps, now 2.1 amps, and we're pulling roughly about 40 amps on the DC side. So obviously, yeah, it's pulling in much more on this side. That's probably nearly done. Doesn't take very long. So that's how easy it is to make a smoothie. We make a fair few smoothies in the van too, so between the juicer and the smoothie. Take her off, and there you go. Easy to make. 240 volts in the van. It really comes in handy having an inverter in the van that can handle higher loads, like, you know, blenders, toasters. I'd say minimum 1000 watts you'd want your inverter to go up to minimum. So I'm gonna drink the rest of this, wait for the juice stuff to dry, pack it all away, and then I'm gonna grab the other stuff out. Alright, so I've cleaned up everything, and here's the final part of the video. So we're gonna test out the 800 watt toaster and the 750 watt toasted sandwich maker. So first of all, I will test the toaster and then the toasted sandwich one. And I'm going to use this other camera to look at the screens over there because the GoPro is struggling. So all I got to do is turn it on, put it down, and let's go to the back and find out. Alright, so on the DC side, we're pulling 72 amps. And on the AC side, we are pulling 3.4 amps, as you can see. Roughly 800 watts. So that's the toaster, what we thought it would be. And now we'll test the toasted sandwich maker. Flick it on. So we're pulling about 65 amps on the DC side. On the AC side, we're pulling about 3.1 amps. Okay, so I hope that made sense. I hope you understand that on the DC side of an inverter, it pulls much more than on the AC side on the output. And it also depends what AC output you're doing and what your input voltage is. So if you're in America, you might have 110 volts, say. Where in Australia, we have 240. So there's gonna be a bit of a difference in the equation. As a rule of thumb, if you have a 12 volt input and 240 volt output, it's roughly 22 times the amount of current on the DC output. So I'm gonna do a final test actually, and I'm gonna put these on together. My inverter is rated to 1600 watts. So this should come to 1550 watts actually. So this will be stressing the inverter, and let's see how much current these two appliances pull together. Flick them both on. So as you can see, we're pulling 150 amps on the DC side from the battery. And on the AC output, we're doing 6.5 amps. And roughly 1916 watts. Alright, awesome guys. That's it for the demonstrations of the 4 appliances. I hope this demonstration's made a bit of sense and helped you out seeing how things work in my van. And also it sort of helped you out to understand electrically wise that it's not really applicable unless you've got a crazy big battery system and an inverter system with solar as well to have massive heating elements. These are both heating elements, and heating elements draw a lot of power generally. So if you had an electric stove, it'd be drawing much more than either one of them. So you'd be pulling hundreds of amps on your DC side of your inverter. Same goes to if you had like an instantaneous electric hot water system. They go up to like 3,000, 5,000 watts. So that'd be pulling a phenomenal amount of amps that would be putting a lot of stress on your inverter and your battery. You'd obviously have to have a bigger system, and is it really worth it? That's why in one of my last videos I was talking about having a gas cooktop, having a gas instantaneous hot water system, because as you can see in this test, there's just a lot of current flow on the DC side of the inverter. So anyway, I do want to show you one more thing, which is sort of an appliance, I guess, which is my fridge. And I'm just gonna run through a little bit about that. So this is my 130 litre Vitrifrigo fridge. It fits in a fair bit. I've ran through this before, and on 12 volts input, because you can have 12 or 24, it pulls 3.75 amps, and it's DC, so it doesn't have to run through an inverter or anything. And I just wanted to quickly show you like a little update of ice. Ice does form on a fridge like this. It doesn't have like an anti-de-ice or anything, and it sort of does get annoying. It can get way worse, like down here. And also in the freezer, it normally gets way more icy than that if you leave it. So the way I get around that is there's like a tray here, and it's a little bit sticky now because there's ice on it. That tray comes out, and you can put all the ice in there from the freezer, pull the tray out, get all the ice off, and then put it back in. So that is a little bit of an annoying thing that happens from time to time. You got to clean it out once every like 2 weeks in the freezer we have. If you don't want it to get really bad, we've left it for longer, and you just pretty much have to defrost the whole freezer then after that, because the ice just covers the whole top. So it is a little bit annoying, but you can live with it, and if you keep on top of it, it's not too bad. And the reason that ice forms is because humidity, when you open the door like I just did, the hot air comes in and like forms into like crystals or ice on the top. So if you can minimize it by leaving your door open for less, and that'll greatly reduce how quickly the ice forms up. You might have a fridge that it has an auto de-icer, but this one isn't. So just wanted to update you guys on that in case you were going to buy this fridge in particular. But overall, it's a really good fridge, and it does the job. Anyway, I hope this video has helped you a lot in explaining my van appliances and stuff. I'm going to do more electrical videos in the near future. I'm going to do heaps more. And if you're just new to seeing these van videos, you can go back to season 1 and watch the whole season on me, how I built all this. And obviously now in season 2, we're running through how everything actually works. So thank you for watching, guys. Share this video, comment, like, and subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell to get notifications whenever I put out a video. And I will see you next time, guys. Catch you later.